speak there. So I can say I'm a friend of Gyeonggi High School Alumni Association. So I will begin now my presentation, and this is actually part of a presentation which I gave at the American Enterprise Institute in Washington, D.C. 1 year ago at the invitation of Dr. Nicholas Eberstadt, who will be visiting Seoul for a conference, and this is a part of that presentation. And in addition, I have some new updates and news about the 미국내의 종북세력 활동. Move slowly, bit by bit through the slide presentation, maybe a few seconds each slide. And here you see I outlined the nature. What is the pro-North Korean movement in the USA? And you can see there the key points of defending North Korean regime, opposing USA and ROK policies, countering the efforts of anti-North Korea people like myself, like Susan Schulte, like Eberstadt, and allying, cooperating with other far-left forces in USA. You may go ahead. There are different types of pro-North Korean organizations, which is very important to understand, and I make a differentiation between the different types. There are the hardcore, openly, fanatically 꼴통적인 종북 groups. Then there are a different type known as front groups. I think the perfect Korean word I heard is 위장단체. 위장단체, 정의단체, which deny in public that they are 친북, and they claim we are only 평화 통일 organizations. They have a false mask which they present to the public. Then there are the traditional communist and far left Marxist-Leninist groups. However, all of these groups cooperate and collaborate. 합작 event, same campaign, same policy views. So actually, practically, in practice, the distinction is getting smaller and smaller. Yes.
들으셨겠지만은 미국의 종북 친북 세력이라는 게 크게 대별로 세 그룹으로 나눌 수 있는데, 하나는 골수 좌익 세력, 좌익 세력. 또 하나는 북한의 전위 세력. 전위 조직은 내놓고 종북이라고 안 그러지만은 자기들은 평화 통일 운동가다 하는 명분하에 북한을 위해서 일하는 세력이고, 그 다음에는 이제 the last group,
communist, Marxist, Leninist.
그다음에 아주 미국 사람들까지 포함해서 완전히 막스 레닌주의를 신봉하는 공산주의 그룹, 그 세 그룹으로 대별해 줄 텐다.
We can move ahead. Yes. The members of some of the 꼴통 종북 groups, in many cases, are Korean Americans, and they function in Korean language. 한국어 website or 한국어 meeting. The front groups vary. Some 몇 프로 재미교포, 몇 프로 미국인 individuals, American individuals. Then you have the communists, mostly non-Koreans, old-time American communists. There's another group, different group, which includes people who are not, I do not call 종북 or 친북, but they are left-wingers who support and enable and assist 도우미, 종북 도우미 people who assist the pro-North forces, help them with the influence and their activities, but personally, 마음속에 they're not 친북, but they're allied with, 동맹 with the pro-North forces.
Fellow travelers.
In a way, yes, exactly, yes. And there are also some VIPs who the pro-North forces in the US have recruited, important people, some politicians, former generals, Korea experts, social leaders, NGO leaders, professional people, 목사님들. What is the scope and size of the pro-North movement? Their locations. They exist in many states in the US, even some states which you don't expect. 깜짝 놀랐어요. Some small or states with not large Korean community, Minnesota or Tennessee, there are a few individuals who are active, but of course, 물론, in the large Korean American community, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago is the biggest center of pro-North activities. There are many dozens of groups which are active, and a few hundred of core leaders, core key group leaders, with many larger number of 술모 있는 파보들, followers, fellow travelers who are members, some of them with good intention, some of them with bad mind and intention. Of course, they're a very small number compared to Korean American, Jamie Kyopo Sawe, small percentage, and very small percentage among total American population, but they make a lot of noise. 군소리 되었습니다, and they're exerting influence, having influence much bigger, larger compared to their small size. What is their method of operation? 방법, how do they operate? They're a network of strongly interconnected, linked organizations and groups. Some person who is member of 6.15 선언 실천 위원회 미국 본부 will be also member of 포민연 미국 본부 and Women Cross DMZ. They all have overlapping connection and membership and activities. And they have joint events and joint 서명 campaign. And they have websites, publish report, hold meetings, conferences, and recently, over the past several years, lobbying Congress. 몇 년 동안 특별히 congressional lobbying 활동하였습니다. Their money, their funding, comes from individual gain contributions from Chapa Jedan, give them money. During the Moon administration, they got money from the Moon government, was providing funds to them. And they're very deceptive, but they're very flexible in their messaging. One aspect which is important and why I strongly want to expose them and oppose them is because the 미국내의 종북세력 leadership group are not simply Americans who use their US constitutional right, their God-given right, to express their view and to petition to their congressional representatives, as people do in all democratic countries, but instead, they are individuals who have a connection with North Korean government, directly, indirectly, and they have a connection with North Korean intelligence agents, 북한 공작원, 간첩들, who are based, headquarters, at the 북한 UN 대표부, the North Korean UN mission in New York. There are usually one or two, sometimes three, I heard, 북한 공작원, posted in New York, and their main job is not UN work. Their main job is 협력, liaison with the 미국내의 종북세력, meeting them, connecting with them, guiding them, acting as a 판사, judge during some dispute or argument. Pro-North Korean activists in US often visited, 북한 방문, visited North Korea before 2017년 travel ban. And now, instead, they are visiting Tokyo to meet with Cho Chong-yeon as second choice, second best. Some of the 미국내의 종북세력 in past time during Park Geun-hye administration, for example, were denied entry into Korea, 출입 금지. But during the Moon administration, 문 열었어요. The door was wide open and they all came into Korea. You may go ahead. Yes, please. Some of the most effective and influential and 위험한 groups are the 위장단체, or what was the term you used, the front groups? 전위조직, because their tactic is a deception, and they can appeal to the mainstream society, to members of Congress, to media, and pretend 속으로, deceptively, that they are just peace groups, 평화단체 or 통일단체, before 통일단, not now 통일단체, because of policy change from North Korea. But therefore, they are able to obtain support and endorsement from some famous figure in USA, an influential figure who can sign their statement or can go to their meeting or can defend them based on their false mask. Therefore, they're a serious problem. We can go ahead. As a matter of fact, I developed a formula, 수학 formula.
Could you tell me who are the donors? For example.
Oh, yes. Well, I have some examples. One I mentioned was the past administration in Korea, which sometimes provided funds through some other organizations, such as through Korea Foundation. They would send fund. Or sometimes they would provide benefits, inviting them to Korea to speak at the conference and paying for their trips to Korea, whether it was the Tongilbu or the Gyeonggi Tongil province under the Moon administration. In the US itself, there are some left-wing 재단, 좌파 재단, which provided a lot of money, and even some mainstream, some 중도 재단, because they were deceived by these groups. Oh, Pyeonghwa group, we can give $1 million. In some cases, they gave millions of dollars. One name you may recognize.
Perhaps Moon Jae-in did play a very important role to push Korean economic entities to provide those kind of left-wing people. Moon Jae-in was very important.
There's one case where he personally intervened, and that was there was a Korean American lawyer who was a far leftist. He claims he was not pro-North, but he was assisting and enabling and cooperating with pro-North forces. He claims he's just a 민주당 guy, but his name was S. Nathan Park. S, just initial, S. Jom Nathan Park. I don't know his Korean name, but he had two identities. Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, I don't know how you say in Korean, Jekyll and Hyde, two identities. One identity was his public identity, and he would write articles condemning Korean conservative and praising Moon Jae-in for many famous publications in US, like New York Times, Washington Post, in England, the Times, many famous foreign affairs. But he secretly had a Twitter account, social media, which was very extremist, kind of crazy leftist. And he hid his two identities, and I tried to expose it because he made some connection with Moon Jae-in. And Moon Jae-in appointed him during Moon administration as senior fellow in Sejong Institute. So that's one example of some benefit. And he invited him to attend some conference in Seoul from USA. That's one example. A name you may know is Warren Buffett, the famous American billionaire. He has a son, youngest son, who's left-wing guy who has a 재단, left-wing 재단. It's called NOVA, N-O-V-A Foundation, NOVA. A few years ago, they gave $2 million to the 친북 단체, especially Christine An, Women Cross DMZ and her network. They gave $2 million. But some other mainstream, 중도 재단, also gives hundreds of thousands of dollars to them. In the US, the 보수 단체, the 애국 단체, I think our funding, we have about 3,000 won, 3,000 won only, enough to buy one Coca-Cola. That's our 보수단체 funding in Los Angeles. 3,000 won, but they have 백만 won, many hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes. Some recent trends of the pro-North movement, they now are focusing intensively, strongly on congressional lobbying, especially the front groups. And they are opposing any bill or measure which the North opposes, and they're supporting any measure which the North supports. They're building a cooperation and close ties with some influential figures who assist them in American society. Some members of Congress, Korea expert, former general in one case. And they also have close ties with left-wing politicians here, with the media. You know, sometimes when the Minju Party and other left-wing figures visit the US, they meet with and they go to the events of not only the front group members, 위창단체 민주당 회원들이 좌파 위창단체 행사뿐만 아니라 참석하면, but even 친북단체 행사 참석하였습니다. Even some well-known members of the opposition Minju Party engaged in that, and former officials of the Moon administration. This assists them a lot because it makes a strong connection between the 한국 좌파 and the 미국 좌파, the 대한민국 친북세력 and the 미국 친북세력. Unfortunately, 안 됐지만, the opposite, the connection between the 대한민국 애국보수 세력 and the 미국 애국보수 세력, very weak, very low level, serious problem. The Minju people actually are visiting the USA, 국회의원들, maybe every 3 months, 몇 개월 미국 방문하였습니다. But the members of the conservative camp or 국민의힘 회원들, maybe 3 years, one time, visit US. They are attracting support from young people. There are actually some youth group, which is training the next generation of the 친북세력 leaders in the US. Recently, they're also defending China. Recently, they're attacking Israel and supporting Hamas. And because of Putin-Kim Jong-un summit, now they're supporting Putin. Recently, maybe just 몇 개월부터 No NATO, NATO 반대 시위, 미국 내 종북 세력 참석하였습니다. 처음 소식입니다. 새로운 소식입니다. And they've become more extreme in their rhetoric. Here are some pictures which I had before. I'll show some pictures and then I will discuss 새로운 소식, new development. First picture. On the left side was a few years ago, 몇 년 전에 북한 유엔 대표부 front 앞에 박철 북한 공작원, then 통일전선부, who was the liaison, contact man for the 미국 내 종북 세력 until maybe 2016년, 5년, then he went back to Pyongyang and 새로운 공작원 미국에 도착해서 리기호이라고 했습니다. Next was 리기호, then 리기호 was out, and then was the COVID. So replacement 없어졌어요. 몇 년 동안. But 지금은 잘 모르겠어요. I'm 연구하고 있어요. 찾고 있어요. But 아직은 못 들었습니다. 새로운 liaison contact man 누구인지 지금은 모르겠습니다. I'm not sure exactly now. Excuse me. You can see the flowers was from the 6.15 선언 6.15 실천위원회 미국 본부. That was a death of Kim Jong-il. Kim Jong-il 사망. The 미국 내 종북 세력 went to the UN office, UN mission, and gave the flowers. And the finger, the hand you see pointing is one member of the 6.15 실천위원회. And the right side was 2015, 2015년, Seoul, City Hall. Mayor Park Won-soon when the Women DMZ crossed from Pyongyang to Seoul, he had a reception, beautiful reception, open up City Hall, beautiful reception for Christine An in the middle, the Korean American lady, the baby. The baby's name is her daughter. Her husband was American, she's divorced, but the baby's name is Jeju. She named Jeju after the 2048 communist uprising in Jeju. Her hero was the communist, she wanted to honor the communist insurgents. Yes, the April 3, so she named her baby as a Jeju. And the American lady to her left is Gloria Steinem, the famous American feminist leader, who was recruited by An as kind of a real Sulmo-Eden Pabo, with emphasis on Pabo, Pabo emphasis, to join her group. And that gave a lot of prestige and a lot of honor to her group by having 유명한 사람 is 직원. One Korean American lady above, the head above. That is Susie Kim, Rutgers Day Kyosu. If you go to Kyobo bookstore, you will see her book about the North Korean Revolution, about the communist takeover of North Korea. 1945년부터 48년, 9년까지. And it's beautifying, praising, beautifying the North Korean takeover of northern half of communist, Korean Workers' Party takeover of northern half of peninsula. Fake history, like the Bruce Cummings style. And it's translated into Korean language, so you can see in Korean language her book. She worked also, Susie Kim, with the youth group of the American 종북세력 called 노두돌, which sometimes visit here in Korea, not banned, and their website and social media is not restricted. Some 종북세력 website, 민족통신, 로길남, or 제미동포 전국연합회, 골동 종북 site is restricted, cannot view, 볼 수 없어요, 대한민국에. But 노두돌, which is also 골동 종북 group, the praise Kim Il-sung 찬양 and 북한 찬양, 대한민국 해방해야 한 rhetoric, is open to view by anyone here in this country, not banned. And this Professor Susie Kim, her role was being a mentor and teacher to the 젊은 미국내의 종북세력 of 노두돌, and she would teach them about 주체 사상 and about Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il 선집 before they would go to North Korea, before they would visit 대한민국. When they visit 대한민국, they would protest in front of Pyeongtaek 시위, and Jeju Navy base protest, and visit Jirisan to thank the communist Bachisan past in Jirisan, and make connection with the Chimbuk groups here in Seoul, with Min No Chong and those kind of groups, connection. We can go to the next picture. On the right side is a picture of a meeting 몇 년 전에 of the 미국 종북세력 leadership. The first one in circle, the lady, is Chung Yeon-jin. She divided time, half and half, 50% LA Seoul. She is leader of Chimbuk group Action One Korea. She's maybe in Seoul now. She's always doing the shiwi in Seoul, and she is the woman who made famous, like a promotion agent, 홍보 agent, many years ago for Shin Eun-mi. Shin Eun-mi was 모르는 분, but this lady, Chung Yeon-jin, was mentoring Shin Eun-mi and invite many 많은 연소들이 미국에서 초대했고 하고 Shin Eun-mi 유명한 사람 되었어요. 그 여자 때문에 Chung Yeon-jin. And you can see there the man with the hand pointing, that was 로길남, the famous 대표적인 미국내 로길남, the famous 민족통신 단체 website leader. He died of COVID a few years ago. He went to North Korea maybe 76 times visit 북한 방문. He received a medal, the Kim Il-sung medal from the 북한 정부. And you can see them there. On the left side, there was 1 year ago, protest in front of the 미국 기지, the Camp Humphreys, 평택, which she, 정영진 and other 주한 종북 좌파 세력 organized. So they're very active in Korea as well as America. We can go to the next. By the way, that.